guys, we're going to go over point of view. This is something you use no matter what kind of fiction you're reading, but we're going to do it with poetry today. So go ahead and grab your notebook and we will start going over point of view. Now, there's three major types of point of view. There's first person, second person, and third person. First person is when the narrator is speaking with I and we. They're in the story and telling you their feelings. Second person is when they're telling it for you. They might say you see something or you're walking down the street. They're pretending that you're the main character. Third person is when it's somebody that's not in the story but outside looking in. They say things like he, she, they. They're telling the story as if they're watching the story. Now, first person, write this down in your notes. First person is the narrator describing how she or he is feeling, and the narrator's usually in the story. Your keywords are like I, me, my, we, us. One of the books that you definitely think of for first person is Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's all told by him in his diary, and he says I and me and talks about his friends. You see how he's feeling and how he feels like everything's going. That's first person point of view. What keywords show us this poem is in first person? So let's read this poem. Everything, Mom. How did you find the energy, Mom, to do all the things you did? To be teacher, nurse, and counselor to me when I was a kid. How do you do it all, Mom? Be a chauffeur, cook, and friend. Yet find time to be a playmate I just can't comprehend. I see now it was love, Mom, that made you come whenever I'd call. Your inexhaustible love, Mom, and I thank you for it all. What keywords did you see that show us this poem's in first person? Look at your notes if you need to and look at those keywords. Let's see. I'm going to get a purple highlight over here. All right. The first thing I saw was the word I. And then you see it again down here. When she says, I see it was love. You'd come whenever I'd call. And I thank you for it all. So we know that this narrator is talking about how she is feeling. Joanna is talking about how she's feeling. She says the word I. That's how we know it's in first person. Third person point of view, on the other hand, is when the narrator describes how others, I'm even going to put that in bold, others think and feel. The narrator is not in the story. They're watching the story, like this guy, this creepy guy over here in binoculars is watching you. Watching the story from the outside, kind of like watching a movie. They're telling you what's going on. Their keywords for telling what's happening are he and she and they, them, her, his. They're never going to say I because they're not part of the story. They're just watching it. Now, there's two kinds of third person. Third person limited limits what we know. See how that word has limit in it? That only tells what we can see. We can see people's actions and the words they say. Third person omniscient can also tell us what characters are thinking or feeling, so they know everything. If you see when you're reading what characters are thinking or feeling, then you know that's third person omniscient. If you only see what they're doing and saying, you're limited in what you know. You don't know how they're thinking or feeling, so that's third person limited. So let's look at this poem here. What keywords tell us that this is third person limited? Remember, third person limited, we don't know the thoughts or feelings from the characters. Pancake. Who wants a pancake, sweet and piping hot? Good little Grace looks up and says, I'll take one on the top. Who wants a pancake fresh off the griddle? Terrible Teresa smiles and says, I'll take the one in the middle. We see this author talking about characters. We see the characters' names. We see that they're quoting someone. So even though it says Al, it's not the narrator saying it, it's Grace and Teresa. So that's not first person. We're still talking about third person. It's someone watching these little girls at the table eating pancakes. We don't see any thoughts or feelings from the characters. We don't know that Grace is really excited. We don't know that terrible Teresa is trying to get back at her teacher. We don't know any thoughts or feelings. We have to guess all of that, which means we're limited in what we know, and that's third person limited. Now this one, what keywords tell us this is third person omniscient point of view? Remember, omniscient does share thoughts and feelings from characters. Once there was a giving tree who loved a little boy, and every day the boy would come to play, swinging from the branches, sleeping in the shade, laughing all the summer's hours away. And so they loved. Oh, the tree was happy. Oh, the tree was glad. How do we know that this is omniscient point of view? It never says I, so we know it's third person, but how do we know it's omniscient point of view? Well, we know how the tree is feeling, right? The tree loved the little boy. What else do we know? How else was the tree feeling? They love each other. The tree was what? Happy. And the tree was glad. We've got lots of feelings in that, and it never says I. So we know it's third person omniscient because we see those feelings. We're not limited.